And we'll bring it on off to the right. And I'm just going to stop it kind of halfway through this turn here, so we can talk about this next sign. So can you see that sign that's off to our right-hand side? That's an A and then some numbers in red.
Yep, the 927.
Yep. So that A, whenever we see a taxiway sign that has yellow lettering with a black background, that's where we are, which is taxiway alpha. And then the sign that's going to be next to it is where we're going to be going, which is entering runway 09, runway 27. So runway numbers correspond. Hey guys, Spudknocker here, as always. And today I had another very fun one-on-one training session with a Patreon who decided to support my channel and get some awesome one-on-one training in the A-18C Hornet. Now, I set up this mission to be kind of a cross-country navigational exercise, as well as dropping a couple dumb bombs, then coming back to Dubai and making a landing at Minhad Air Base again. Now, I made an oversight and accidentally made this mission start in the evening, and we just went with it, and it kind of turned into a nighttime cross-country and a nighttime bombing practice mission in which this new patron, who has only been flying in DCS World for a week now, did a fantastic job adapting to the darkness, and he really loved seeing the sunset in DCS World, as well as all the city lights, seeing the Burj Khalifa all lit up, seeing the runway lights and learning about different runway lights and taxiway lights and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. So keep in mind here that I do one-on-one training with all patrons who donate $15 or more to help support the channel, and we can do as many sessions as you want or as little sessions as you want. The session length depends on the needs of the patron itself. Usually lasts between an hour and a half and 3 hours, somewhere around there per session. And we learn a lot. I give you guys some homework to work on, both in DCS and outside of DCS, such as reading books, articles, things like that to help increase your knowledge to get the most fun out of DCS World possible. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and of course, fly safe and stay healthy out there.
Put myself behind you first, and then I'll figure
Yeah, I believe it's the paddle switch. No, it's the nose wheel steering switch.
Okay.
Yeah, it says autopilot / nose wheel steering disengage paddle switch. It's by default keyboard A.
Oh, okay. It's the autopilot button. Got it.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay, done.
Alrighty, so in a crosswind kind of situation, we would want to make sure that we kind of keep the autopilot, or sorry, the nose wheel steering on until we get to about 70-ish knots or so, and then you would want to turn it off and continue your takeoff roll without the nose wheel steering. But for when the wind is right down the runway like this and you're kind of just starting out in the jet, it's a little bit easier to just kick off that nose wheel steering before you start your takeoff run.
And I just use my rudders really to center myself as we go down.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and take off here. And I'm just going to fly directly to Waypoint 1. And I'm going to climb up to an altitude of 10,000 feet.
Okay. I'm okay to take off right behind you?
Yep, go for it. Now, I may have messed up here and actually had us take off in the evening, so we may need to interrupt the mission in a little bit here and restart it so that way we're not flying around in the dark.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what we did. The sun's setting, not rising.
It's all good. Okay, flaps are up, gears are up, and behind you.
Yep, so I'm going to have you take the lead of the formation. So go ahead and fly direct to waypoint 1. It's actually a lot easier if you lead than if I lead, because that way I can keep track of you and you don't have to worry about keeping track of me.
So waypoint 1 is the little dash in the heading compass thing at the top, right?
Yep, so you want to put that little tick mark inside the caret, which is that kind of arrowhead looking symbol on the heading tape.
Right.
Want to put that in there and then you'll be good to go. So go ahead and climb up to about 10,000 feet at 350 knots and we'll be good to go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. And since it is getting a little bit dark here, why don't we go ahead and turn on our formation lights?
Sure can. Find them. There they are.
All right, I see you. Coming off my left. Have you ever played around with night vision goggles before?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Well, but I can. It's not a big deal.
Yep, it's a good time to learn that.
Okay, about 10,000 feet. Leveling out.
Go for about 350 knots.
Oh yeah, I'm a little slow. That's the biggest challenge I have is my speed.
Yeah, and that's going to be different depending on your loadout, how draggy you are, how heavy you are, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and try and rejoin up with you here.
Okay. I think I see you.
Yep, I should be off to your right-hand side.
Yep. Slick.
What's that?
You're slick. It's almost like you know what you're doing.
I try my best. I don't always know what I'm doing. In fact, that was one of the better join-ups I've ever done, so...
Oh, there you go.
Gotta save those for the paying customers, I guess.
I'm futzing around with the trim to try and stay level. That's another thing I have.
Yeah.
It seems like the trim it lags behind. You know, you press a button, it doesn't react. You press it more, and then it overreacts, and then you got to fight it.
Yeah. So in the F-18, you really shouldn't need to mess around with the trim all that much, because it is a you know, a fly-by-wire jet, and the fact that we have a pretty symmetrical loadout on the jet right now. So you really don't need to mess around with it all that much. Just kind of fly the jet to the attitude you want and then leave it there. If you let go of the stick, it should stay there pretty darn well. So if you look on your HUD, we're now going away from Waypoint 1. So let's go ahead and push it.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. Let's go ahead and push it to Waypoint 2. No, don't worry, don't turn.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to Waypoint 2, which is going to be off to our left-hand side. So you just go ahead and start that turn whenever you're ready.
Okay, so Waypoint 2 first, because
should be
monkey.
Should be about 2 nautical miles, or sorry, 70 nautical miles off to our left-hand side.
Okay, banking now.
Raj. Yeah, don't worry about me. I'm staying with you.
Good, because I'm really worried about me.
Okay. And we see all the city lights are starting to turn on below us.
Ooh, I've never flown at night, so this is new.
Yeah, we'll take a nice tour of Dubai in a bit here, so you can see all the lights on in Dubai on the Palm Island and whatnot.
This is the first time on this map.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a very cool map. I like it so much more than the Caucasus. Now, good job. So let's go ahead and climb up to 15,000 feet.
Okay.
Just a nice gentle climb. Bring it up about, let's go for 7.5 degrees of pitch.
Okay.
That's going to be about halfway between the 5-degree point and the 10-degree point on the pitch ladder.
Yeah, right about here.
Yep. Looking real good. Now remember, if we're going to climb up, we're going to need to add some power, right? We're starting to slow down.
Oh, you're right. Okay, power's up.
Yep. Have you ever used the auto throttle before?
No.
So it basically works like cruise control in the jet, and it works very well. It will, if you're out of afterburner and you hit the auto throttles, which is set by, I believe, T on the keyboard by default, it will be exactly like cruise control in our car. It will keep your speed to the best of its ability, no matter how high you're climbing or how low you're descending, all that kind of stuff. It works really well for saving gas.
I think I'll do that as soon as I hit the 350.
Raj?
You said it's the T key, right?
Let me double check that for you.
Okay.
Yes, it is the T key by default.
Okay. I pressed the T button, not sure where the switch was, but we'll see if it works.
Do you get ATC pop up on your HUD?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Yep, so that means you are in auto throttles, and the jet will try to keep 350 knots as well as it possibly can throughout your maneuvering.
Okay.
All right.
Does the ATC disappear after a little while? Is that normal?
If you move your throttle, it will disengage, so you just have to hit T again to turn it back on.
Oh, there we go. Okay. There.
Yep. All right, so it's starting to get a little bit darker, so we can start to turn our systems into night mode. It'll make it a little bit easier to see. It won't be so bright for you.
Okay.
So there's a little switch that's off to your right-hand side.
Okay.
And we can throw that from day mode into night mode.
Let me see if I can find that switch.
It's where all your light switches are for like your instrumentation lighting and your chart lighting, things like that.
Oh, I see. Mode NVG.
Yep.
Ooh.
And,
Okay.
and then if you go onto like the top of your DDIs, there's a little switch, the on-off switch. You can throw that into night mode, and you can also throw your HUD into night mode. And you can also put your MPCD into night mode with a little switch at the top left of the MPCD.
Perfect. Oh wow, this is nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
It makes it a little bit easier on the eyes, right?
Oh geez, does it ever?
Yeah. So we're flying out to what's called the Kasab, which is like a little piece of Oman that's actually within the borders of the United Arab Emirates, and that's kind of at the end of a big peninsula out here. So since we're kind of established on a nice, easy, straight and level flight here, I'll go ahead and give you the keybinds that you'll need for your NVGs and how to adjust the brightness of your NVGs.
Perfect.
So the NVG control is called toggle goggles. By default, it's right shift H.
Okay, got it.
And the gain, goggles up and down, which is the brightness, is right alt, right shift H, and right control, right shift H. Now I rebound those to my arrow keys up and down.
Oh, yeah, I see how you would want to do that. Okay. Okay, I brought the gain all the way down.
Yeah, it's still a bit too bright outside for night vision goggles, but now we know how to use them for when it gets a little bit darker.
And the button to turn is H, you said, right? On and off?
It is... It is right shift H.
Right shift H. Okay, perfect. Got it.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So we're just flying out to Kasab here. We got 31 nautical miles left.
I'm gonna just bank a tiny bit to the right.
Yep. So right now the wind is actually blowing perpendicular to us. It's blowing from the east out to the west, from the Gulf of Oman into the Persian Gulf. And so that's why we're getting pushed just slightly to the left of our...
No, the wind direction. Is that somewhere in here that I should know about?
Yep, so if you hit left alt B, it'll bring up the mission briefing panel. If you scroll all the way down, you can see the weather, and you can see the navigation wind at ground is 6 meters per second from the direction of 269 degrees.
Yes, yes, okay.
In DCS World, it's kind of backwards as to the way they display wind. It might be a Russian thing because it's a Russian company, but basically it's kind of coming from the opposite direction that it shows on the mission briefing card. It's really annoying, but it's just one of those things.
Those things you just learn with time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a simism. Alright, let's see if I can close formation with you a little bit. Now, if you do flip on your night vision goggles and you look off to the right side, away from the bright sunset over there, you'll be able to see a lot better with them.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
You're pretty bright.
Yeah. Got these bright lights on. You won't be able to lose me, that's for sure.
No.
So check that auto throttle. Are you still cruising at 350?
I'm at 346. APC's on, so
Okay.
that's as close as I think I could get. Maybe.
Yeah, you're good. I thought that you had potentially sped up a little bit, but it was just me. Alright, that's a pretty shot that I'm getting right now. With you?
Oh yeah, you are.
The new night lighting that they put in DCS with the last few patches is very, very nice. It's so much better than it was.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
Yep. And so we'll go ahead. Once we hit waypoint 2 out here, I'll have you take us to waypoint 3, which is going to be almost 90 degrees off to our left, so bringing us almost to about 270 degrees.
So the waypoint is that little green dot on the end of that peninsula.
Yep.
On the bottom, what do you call that thing at the bottom again?
That's called the MPCD, but you can just call it the bottom screen, you know, whatever is easiest.
So that's the green dot, that's waypoint 2, and then
Yep.
when I toggle it to waypoint 3, it's going to move out and go some...
Yep, it's gonna go somewhere else to our next waypoint, basically.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
A lot of people end up just, especially when they're brand new to DCS, just end up flying at 12 noon all the time in those training missions, and then they get really disappointed by how bad DCS looks at 12 noon, and they never fly at night or anything like that, and they're always shocked by the first time they do it.
Yeah, you did a video on that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
And one of the things that's kind of funny, though, is if you go fly in real life at 12 noon, it looks kind of shitty, too. Like, you know, there's no shadows on mountains and hills and buildings, you know, everything looks flat and boring. But then, you know, you wait a couple hours and you go fly at dusk, and it looks just as beautiful, you know, in DCS as it does in real life. Alright, so we're coming up on waypoint 2 here. Let's go ahead and already start pushing to waypoint 3. And that way, in our turn, we'll go ahead and fly over waypoint 2 and bring ourselves towards waypoint 3.
Okay, waypoint 3 set, banking left.
Raj? Good job. Have you ever played around with dropping dumb bombs before?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, we'll go over it from...
You best assume I know nothing.
Roger. Yeah, I was going to say, we'll go over it from step 1 to step hero.
Because I may have picked up some bad habits. Who knows? It's been a week. It doesn't take long to pick up bad habits.
That's for sure. So I like your nice level turn. Really like that. We lost about 300 feet, but still really good. I like how smooth and gentle you fly the Hornet.
Yeah, I'm really trying to keep that little plane symbol on the level line in the HUD.
Yep. So that's going to be called the horizon line, or and that little airplane symbol is called the velocity vector. It's basically the computer of the Hornet is predicting where you're going to be based on your current velocity. So that velocity could be increasing, could be decreasing, it could be going left, could be going right, could be going up, could be going down, and it's using that information to predict where you're going to be. And that's why it's a little airplane symbol. Now the horizon line is made up of two little L's that are on the left and right, right?
Yep.
So they're also called L brackets. So you'll hear people call it that as well.
Okay. We're about to be on target 3.3. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, looks like it's about 265 degrees. And we'll go ahead and roll on out. Alright, so to set up for an air-to-ground attack, basically we want to go into air-to-ground master mode. We want to turn the jet from master arm safe to arm.
Yep.
And we'll go ahead and select our 83B on the stores page that automatically pops up on your left-hand DDI.
Yep, I see that. 83B selected.
Yep. Okay, go to M fuse, set nose, and E fuse, set instant.
Yep.
So basically what that does is on the bomb's nose, we have a mechanical fuse that crushes when it hits something on the ground, and that crushing sends a signal to the electronic fuse, and that electronic fuse is now set to detonate instantaneously when that mechanical fuse is crushed. Now, we can set it for that mechanical fuse to delay a few milliseconds before it explodes, so say that bomb can dig itself into the ground, or dig itself into a bunker, or a runway, or anything like that before it detonates, but for today we'll just leave that to instantaneous. Now, we'll leave ourselves to drop one bomb at a time, but we can adjust that by hitting the UFC button and adjusting the quantity of bombs dropped, as well as the multiple of how many bombs come off with each pulse, as well as if we set a quantity that was higher than 1, we can also set the interval of how many feet would be between the impacts of those bombs.
Right. Assuming that option only shows up when you select like quantity 2 or something.
Yes, sir, exactly. Now, you can also see on our air-to-ground radar on the right-hand side, we should be able to see a little blip on that radar directly off our nose, and that is the island that we're going to be bombing.
Okay.
So, pretty cool, right? And it's getting to the point where we are getting to be able to flip on our night vision goggles to actually make an attack here. And what we want to do here is we want to have what's called a roll-in maneuver, where we're not flying directly at our target. We want to fly offset from the target a few degrees, wait until that target kind of comes back past our nose, and once it hits our canopy, we then want to roll into the target, pull down almost upside down, roll wings level again, get the CCIP cross on that target as quickly as possible, pickle our bomb off, and then pull off the target. So it's a lot of steps, but if you want, we can put you into an autopilot hold and you can watch me do it on the screen. Share. Would that help?
Sure. Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
Alright, so go ahead and bank your jet a little bit off to the left-hand side and bring up the A/P for autopilot on the UFC. Go ahead and turn on the B-Alt for barometric altitude hold, as well as the ATTH for attitude hold.
Done?
Alright, so now you can take all of your concentration off of flying the jet, and you can just watch me drop these bombs.
Watching you now.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and have my night vision on a little bit here so I can see the target a little bit better. It's not perfect because we've got quite a bit of sunset left. So we're going to be doing the best we can. We can use a couple of the sensors that are available to us, the air-to-ground radar, the map that we have down here. We can also drill the map in so that we can see that island on the map. And we can kind of see some lights down there as well. We zoom in. And if we zoom in, we can see the runway lights on the runway of the island down there.
Yep. Yep, I see that. Big smokestack.
Yep, some smoke down there. So like I said, we're just kind of flying offset from the target a bit. Kind of want to increase my altitude about maybe 18,000 feet or so. Now what's really, really important and what gets new people in trouble with dropping bombs in CCIP to start off is they accidentally push the nose over when they're dropping their bombs, and they accidentally hit their bombs and they explode in midair and don't understand why. And it's because if you push the nose down at all while you're dropping bombs, you're liable to hit your own bomb. So that's that's very important not to do that. Alright, we'll level it off here. Now the idea here is we want to get our CCIP cross up on the HUD as quickly as possible by having a nice good steep dive angle. So Our target's going to be the base of that smoke. We can see it hit the canopy rail. So we're going to roll, pull down. There's a nice gentle movement. And we want to be at roughly about a 30-degree dive angle, so between 25 30 degrees. We're a little bit shallow right now. We're going to pull the throttle back. We're going to keep that CCIP cross coming down. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Getting a little bit low. Alright, there's the cross. I'm going to drop it right there, pickle. And now I'm going to pull off. There's one bomb away. We can hear a Shilka down there locking me up. And kaboom, there's my bomb. Just exploded down there.
Right.
Oh, we can see some tracers coming up at me. So the idea here is we want to just come off the target as quickly as possible and climb back up as quickly as possible, so that way we don't let those Shilkas get a shot off on us.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Does that make it a little bit more clear on how to do that?
Yep. Yep. So the mode was CIP.
Yep.
M-fuse is nose. E-fuse is instant. Okay, just double checking that.
Yep.
Let's see my vertical line. The target's at waypoint 2.
Target's at waypoint 3.
3? Yes, sorry, 3. I can't count this morning. More coffee needed.
It's okay.
Alright, so I believe that's the island behind me. Night vision on. Yeah, you're right. That sunlight doesn't take much, does it?
Nope. Make sure you turn down the gain of your goggles, so that way it doesn't blind you.
Yeah, it's in the bottom minimum.
Alright.
Okay, so we'll... Okay, just hope that's the right island. We'll know in a second. I'm gonna bank left.
Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my jet into autopilot, and here, why don't we actually pause the server for a second, so that way you can go live on Discord,
Sure.
and I can watch you.
Absolutely.
Alright, server's pause.
Okay, I will do the... I'm gonna share screen.
Perfect. Alright, so let me go ahead and unpause the server for us.
Yep, it's all good. That's some nice features to have, pausing and unpausing.
Oh yeah, it definitely helps, and the screen sharing thing on Discord is amazing too.
Oh yeah.
Alright, let's see where you are. Okay, you're pretty far from the island, but that's okay, no problem.
Yeah, so the island's at...
Roughly about 039 degrees, or 310 degrees from you right now.
Yep.
About 30 nautical miles.
And what's the height that you started at? About 18? Is that what you're
about 18,000 feet is a good place to start.
Okay. We'll turn off this autopilot thing.
Yep. If you want to get rid of that no radio connected and that white
text,
yeah, hit tab. There you go. That helps.
Yeah, those I figured out.
Yeah.
You were annoying. I just forgot about them. I'm too excited doing this. Sorry.
That's okay. All right. So, if on your air-to-ground radar, see that island out in front of you?
Yes, I do.
That's that island that we're gonna attack. So it's the little big one, not the giant one off to your right, but the kind of medium one off your nose.
Yeah, the one right in front of me, essentially.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Going up.
Yep, and when we're getting into combat here, it's a good idea to start increasing your speed to about, let's go for about 400 knots.
400 knots, got it.
Yep. That ATC is going to flash for a little bit, then it's going to go away on its own.
Okay, that's just telling me that I'm overriding the cruise control, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay.
Chevy 1-2, Dark Star 1-1, Bra 054 for 100 at 18,000 knots.
That's just the AWACS kind of telling us about contacts around us. Nothing was going to attack you, so don't worry about that.
Dark Star 1-1, Bra
if you want to turn it off, you can change your radio channel.
At 18,000 knots.
I can do what, sorry?
If you want to not listen to the AWACS, you can change your radio channel.
Oh. Yeah, I would need to know where to go, but is this button right here? Go 304, something like that, maybe?
Yeah, something like that works.
Okay, I'm pretty high. I'll bring it down. I'm gonna put that on. That looks like the island here, so I'm gonna bank left so I can see what I'm doing, or bank right because I don't know the difference.
That island out in front of you. Where's the island?
It's like in.
Oh, okay. You're good.
There somewhere.
So it's off to your left. So look to your left just slightly for me. Yeah, there it is, right there. So you're gonna wait till that target hits your canopy bow. And then go ahead and roll on in.
There we go.
Looking good. Might want to pull the throttle back a little bit so we don't get too fast in our dive.
I'm aiming for that smokestack.
Yep, go ahead and put the bomb right at the base of that smoke. You want to pull that throttle back a bit. Looking real good. Alright, get that cross up there. Remember not to push down on the stick. Alright. Drop, pull up. Get out of there. Alright, that's a Shilka locking you up. Don't worry about it. Just get out of there. I didn't see the bomb impact, but I'm sure you put it there.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. I'm sure it's gone. I don't see a bomb in my wing.
Yep.
Or it.
Nice job,
Oh yeah,
dude.
I did drop one. Okay, yep.
Yep, nice job, man. I mean, that was really good for the first time, right?
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, I find it to be a little bit easier to do it the right way like that than try to like push your nose over or fly directly at the target or something like that, you know? Because you can see your target that way, and you can see if they're shooting at you. You can see if there's someone else diving on that target that you might run into. Things like that that you'd want to avoid.
Right. This whole sweeping thing, and that's exactly why. So you have a bit of a better sense of a situational awareness of what's going on.
Exactly, and that's the whole reason why we do it. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to come back around and drop a bomb as well. You can go ahead and swing on back around and do the same.
Fair enough. Is there a rule of thumb how many miles away before you start turning around? And
well, you probably want to get to a point where you can come around back to the target from a different what's the word I'm looking? From a different heading. You don't want to attack the target from the same heading twice, because all the enemy gunners down there are now looking at where you came from to see if there's more jets coming from that direction, right?
I launched one at one of those red dots down there, so...
Nice. Hopefully you hit it.
Hopefully. We'll see. Not sure.
That's okay.
They're moving. It scared the bejesus out of one, I think.
Looks like you damaged one.
Oh, I did? Good.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to head back in and drop some bombs now. Alright, what's your fuel state looking like?
I was just looking at that. I'm at just under 10,000.
Cool. We are good to go then.
So the setting of waypoints and all that, is that always done in the mission editor, or can we do it on the fly within this environment?
We can do it on the fly in the jet too. So that's important because, like, say if you're in a mission and you get a new tasking, like, oh, there's a VIP in a convoy, they're last seen at this coordinate, so you can throw that coordinates into the INS of the jet and make a new waypoint.
Okay, all right.
It's also important too because you can use that as a point to drop a JDAM on.
Right, yeah, and that was maybe one of the things that I haven't really explored a lot is the navigation system. I would just fumble my way around the maps, right?
Yeah. Alright, I see our target down there, so I'm going to go ahead and roll on into a target. How many bombs do you have left?
Oh, 2.
Okay.
If we started with 4, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I have 2 left.
You can also check that on your source page on your DDI. It'll give you a readout of how many bombs are left on the jet.
Yeah, I'm looking at store page, so it shows 1 and 1 above both pods, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, so on both racks, you got 1 bomb, so 2 for a total of 2.
Yeah.
Perfect. Alright, I'm coming in for a drop.
Okay. I'll be right behind you. I'm not sure where you are, but...
I'm in my drop. I'm heading 030. I'm going to come off to the west.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see your little dot.
Alright, there goes a bomb.
I'm coming down.
Roger that. Where are you running in from?
180.
Raj. And then once you, obviously as there's bombs coming off of the jet, you're going to need to start retrimming the jet out to get her more stable, because she's going to start rolling to the left or right.
Right, and that's just the left and right on the trim button, right on the hat switch.
Yep, exactly.
And then you just play by ear. There's not like a magic sauce. Every bomb's like three ticks or whatever like that.
Nope, it's kind of more of a magic sauce, because it's really going to vary depending on your angle of attack, your airspeed, your altitude, air density. All these kinds of things are going to affect how much trim you need to put in to relieve that asymmetrical loading. Alright, so I'm going to come on in. I'm going to go ahead and ingress from the west. I'm going to come off to the south. And so as you start flying in missions with more people and things like that, if that's your goal in the end, is to like join the missions that I post, is when you're attacking targets like this, you would want to call out your run-ins and your egress points. So that way you can deconflict with other jets in the area, so that way you don't run into each other.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
Yep.
I think the terminology, so egress is coming out, right?
Yep, ingress is going in, egress is coming out.
Okay.
And pickle. And then so a few terms that we can throw in here as well are pickle is when you are dropping an unguided munition. Paveway is when you're dropping a guided bomb. So that would be like a JDAM or a Paveway laser guided bomb. And then you can also throw in things like rifle, which you're firing a guided air-to-ground missile, so like a Maverick. Do you understand what Fox 1, Fox 2, Fox 3 means?
I have an idea. That's like, you see it in movies all the time.
Yeah.
You know, Fox 1 is the first one you launch, 2 is the second one.
Close. So Fox 1 means you're firing a semi-active radar-guided missile, so like an AIM-7 Sparrow. Fox 2 is if you're firing a IR-guided missile, like a Sidewinder. And Fox 3 would be if you're firing an active guided missile, like a AIM-120 AMRAAM or an AIM-54 Phoenix off of a Tomcat.
So the numbers don't mean the quantity, they mean a different type. Okay.
Exactly, yeah, which is important, because if you're in a dogfight and a friendly fires a Sidewinder, that's a missile that can potentially accidentally hit a friendly pretty easily. So you want to, know if someone's firing a Fox 2 in the middle of a dogfight. Same with a Fox 3. Sometimes they can have some IFFing trouble. And then a Fox 1, not usually so much of an issue, but you definitely want to know when somebody's firing a certain type of missile.
So I didn't say any of that because you were talking, but I just finished doing the thing.
Nice.
We're out of bombs. Well, I'm out of bombs.
Roger. I got one more, so I'll just pull on in real quick here, drop a bomb, then we'll head home to do a little tour of the lights of Dubai.
Sounds great. How are we doing on time for you? We're good?
Oh yeah, we're 100% good.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. You're fun to fly with, so I'll fly all day with you.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Note to self, I'm not an ass.
Yeah. Canadians are always nice people to fly with.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing for Canadians. I know we're sorry a lot, but I didn't know we're flying good buddies.
Yeah.
I'll add it to my repertoire.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna roll in, drop my last bomb, and then we'll be out of here. Alright, Pickle. I'm going to come off to the south. And so why don't we go ahead and fly at a heading of roughly about 180, and we'll head back towards Dubai. Alright, so now that we're kind of separated because we've just flown in combat, and now we need to find each other to head home together, we can use the data link page to actually find each other. Have you ever used it before?
Nope, absolutely not.
Okay, so I'm going to get myself up to a safer altitude. Yeah, about 10,000 feet. I'll bring it up to 15,000. And then I'll bring up my SA page on my left-hand DDI, just as a place you can put it. You can put it on any page if you want. And I can see you now on my SA page. Do you have your SA page up?
Just put it up.
All right. So you should be able to see me on the page as a little circle with an A in it with a little carrot or a little stick pointing out of that A.
Oh, yeah, I see ya. Yeah.
So that's me. And basically what it gives you is my current heading. So that little carrot is the direction at which I'm flying. And then the little A inside there means that I'm your leader since I'm in the number 1 jet in the flight. And I see B in your circle because that means you're the number 2 jet. Our number 3 would be Charlie, and our number 4 would be Delta. And so that's a really easy way to keep track of your flights. And then if you go sensor select switch to the screen at which you have your SA page, so that's either left, right, up, or down, you can then move the TDC cursor, those captain's bars, over me, and you can see what type of jet I am, an F-18, and as well as the range and azimuth at which I am from you.
Okay, so that's weird. The text seems to be cut off on my screen.
Yeah, if you switch it over to the right-hand DDI, that won't be a problem.
Ah, okay, so it's just a DDI. Okay,
yeah. So you're currently at Bra 107 for 13 for me, so I can find you very easily that way.
So the okay, so that those numbers. So 287 is the heading on the numbers at the top, right, of my HUD. If I were to go to 287, I would be going towards you, essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and the 13 is the distance.
Yes, so BRA means bearing, range, and altitude. We don't get a altitude indication from the... actually, we do get an altitude indication. I'll show you that in a second. But basically, that's just giving us the BR of BRA, so which is bearing and range. So it'd be, 107 for 13 for me, to you, and then something else from you to me. I just climbed way up unintentionally while I was talking there, but that's okay. I'm going to come on down back to 15,000.
Won't hit traffic up there. I think you're fine.
What's that?
You won't hit any traffic.
Nope. I want to bring it down though because we're going to land back at Al Minhad. And so if you kind of look out at Dubai, you can see the city lights out there. You can see the Burj Khalifa sticking way up out to the south.
Oh yeah.
Pretty cool.
I did not know this was in the map.
Yep.
So realistically speaking, how big are these maps? Like, how long would it take to go from one corner to another?
The Persian Gulf, I think, is about 500 nautical miles by 500 nautical miles or so. Don't quote me on that. I can actually look it up right now. It's about 700 nautical miles squared.
Oh, wow.
So it'll take a while. I've flown some pretty long missions with guys, and they've definitely taken a while. What's your altitude right now?
1483.
Raj.
Heading 180.
Copy. Alright, so go ahead and, once you hit the coastline, go ahead and just parallel the coastline.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, there you are. I see it now. Had to turn off my NVGs.
Yeah, I noticed that oh, now I see you as well.
Yep.
I wasn't able to find you with my NVGs earlier. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, the lighting is a little bit screwy right now, but they're working on it.
Hey, there's something about the lighting in cockpits going on right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So is it normal that the carrot at the top does not line up with my, what did you call that again? My, oh, I'm bingo.
I'm bingo as well.
My plane symbol.
Yeah, so basically the velocity vector is also affected by wind, and that that caret for the heading is always just going to be in the very center of your HUD. You can also cage your HUD with the cage uncage button if you're in navigation mode to both to turn off that wind correction, which is important when you're landing on a carrier. But for, you know, flying a Canadian Hornet land-based, you really don't have to mess with that too much.
That's true, yeah. We don't have the budget for big ships like that.
Nobody has the budget for big ships like that.
And I'm assuming the master caution was my bingo?
Yeah, so you can go ahead and push on that and get rid of it.
Oh, this is cool. There's a lot more buildings than I thought there was.
Yep. And then there is a couple airports along here. There's Dubai International Airport. There's Al Furjaya International Airport. You can see the lights of the Palm Islands in just a moment here.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, pretty cool. And so why don't we go ahead and push it up to waypoint 7. That's going to be our lineup point for our runway. And why don't we descend down to about 5,000 feet.
Waypoint 7, 5,000 feet. Got it.
Yep.
Going down.
Are you about 350 knots or so?
Yes, I am.
Raj.
I got the cruise control on.
Perfect. You can see all those beautiful buildings down there. I really like the Palm Island. I think that's very cool. I wanted to visit Dubai one day. I think it'd be a pretty cool place to go visit one day.
Yeah. A few coworkers of mine have been a few times, and they really enjoyed it.
That's cool.
The only place I got to really visit in my work was in Finland. Finland, now that's a nice country too. Nice people.
I bet. There's a Burj Khalifa down there.
Leveling out.
Copy. I'm still trailing you a ways. I'm about a mile on trail.
Yeah, I picked up quite a bit of speed there going down.
Yep. That'll happen. Well, I mean, I'm kind of blown away. You're sure you've only been playing this for a week so far?
Yeah, no, legit, just a week.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
I tried to play with the mouse and keyboard. That failed miserably.
Oh yeah, that doesn't work at all.
And then finally the joystick and all that showed up, and been playing a few times here and there.
Nice. All
Your
right,
videos have helped, man. I'm just being honest. They helped.
Thanks. I'm glad they helped. All right, so our airport's going to be at Waypoint 8, but if we fly out to Waypoint 7 first, that will line us up with the runway.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep, so that's important. Starting to gain on you a little bit here. Are you going pretty fast right now?
Yeah, I don't know why it's 400.
Yep, so just go ahead and pull it back a little bit. And so we won't worry about a brake or anything like that since it's dark. We'll just do a nice straight-in approach for landing. You ever landed the Hornet before?
Yeah, a few times, if you call them landings. Yep.
Okay. We'll try our best. I'm going to go ahead and call up the tower and get the runway lights turned on for us.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start just a gentle turn to the left towards Waypoint 8.
Copy. Gentle turn.
Yep. We're going to need to make the turn a little bit tighter.
Copy.
We kind of overshot the runway already a little bit. Probably need to change where that waypoint is.
Oh, I see the runway now.
Yeah,
it's on the right of that roadway, right?
It's inland, a little bit farther. There's two airports, and we want to go for the one that's at Waypoint 8. So it's 90 degrees off to our left right now.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see the waypoint on map. Okay, got it.
Yep. That's something that people accidentally land at that other airport all the time when trying to land back at Minhad Air Force Base.
Chevy 1-1 inbound. Chevy 1-1. Flying 6060.
Altitude. Okay. Right heading.
Yep. Alright, let's check it to the left just slightly. So turn to a heading of about 0.55 for runway lineup.
Roger.
And we'll keep the descent down. Let's keep it coming down to about 3,000 feet.
Copy. 0.5, going down.
Yep. Slow it down to about 275-ish knots.
Altitude.
Alright, you should be able to see the airport now. It's not the one that's directly off our right wing, it's at our 1 o'clock.
Far out in the distance there, in the middle of the field?
Yep. At our 1 o'clock, you can see the runway lights now.
Okay, yeah, they're kind of bluish. Okay.
Yep, exactly. So those blue lights are the taxiway lights. The white lights are going to be our runway lights. So that's the runway we're currently trying to line up for.
Okay. Went a little low.
It's okay. We'll go ahead and start descending a little bit more. Let's go ahead and descend down to about 2,500 MSL.
Okay.
And go ahead and start slowing it down to about 250 knots.
Wait.
Go ahead and bring down your flaps to full.
Flaps to full.
You're going to feel a bit of a balloon. Don't worry about it. If you need to, go ahead and give yourself some nose down trim. Let's descend down to 1,500 feet MSL. Just make a very gentle right-hand turn to line up with that runway that's off to our right-hand side at 1 o'clock. Keep that descent coming.
Flew by it, but
That's okay. We got plenty of room to line up.
okay. Coming down.
All right, let's go ahead and dirty up, get those gear down.
Big red lights on.
Yep. Get yourself lined up for that runway. I'm going to be offset to the right a little bit. I'm going to follow you down, and then I'm going to go around and make a landing on my own.
Okay. And you said it's the ones to the left of the blue lights, right?
Yep, it's the lights that are just to the left of the blue lights.
Okay.
So blue lights are always taxiway lights. That's actually how I usually find airports in real life at night, is looking for blue lights, and then I look for the white lights for the runway that are next to the blue lights.
Okay. So what should my speed be right now? I'm at 160-ish.
Yep, about 160 is a good kind of approach speed.
Okay.
And just put your velocity vector on that runway, on the, approach end of that runway, and just keep on flying it down to that runway. Once you're geared down, you should start to see that E bracket on the HUD.
Yeah, I do.
Yep, so just gently bring some nose up trim to get the velocity vector into the middle of that E bracket. And then that orange donut to the left of the HUD should light up, meaning that you're on speed and on angle of attack for landing.
Okay, so it's with the trim I need to play this.
Yes,
Got
sir.
it. Yeah, there's a donut. Okay.
Yep, just go nice and slow, nice and gentle. Don't try to rush it. We want to be right around 145 knots on short final and about 140 knots when we touch the wheels down.
A little fast, a little slow. So,
Yep.
bring that up.
Yep, don't get too low on me. You're getting a little bit low.
Okay. Go up a bit.
Yep. No need to ascend. Just go ahead and level off and continue at that same altitude.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
Yep. When we're trying to intercept a glide slope for a runway, instead of raising our altitude, we just want to level off and re-intercept that glide slope that we want.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Alright, I'm following you down here. It's still looking good. Got to still have that runway in sight, right?
I do.
Alright. So now you should be able to see what's called a PAPI, just to the left-hand side of that runway. Do you see it? It's like it should be a couple red and a couple white lights.
Yes, I do.
So you want to make sure that you have 2 white and 2 red lights. That means you're on glide slope.
Yep. 2 white, 2 red.
Perfect. Keep that 2 white, 2 red. And put that velocity vector on the runway and follow it all the way down.
Okay. So my angle of attack thingy, or that E bracket, I'm in the center.
Raj.
Donuts there. 140 knots.
Raj,
Whatever
looking
that
good.
is.
We're a little bit high, so we can go ahead and descend a little bit.
And to descend, do I...
Just release some
down?
power. Just pull up, pull back on the power. Right now we're in what's called the region of reverse command, where we're using our power for altitude and our pitch for airspeed.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I'm throwing a lot at you right now.
That's good. No, I'll hopefully remember. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I'm way too high.
Yeah, we're a bit high, so just pull power back for me. And just settle her on down to the runway. Still looking real good. I'd rather you be high than low. Alright, you're settling a little fast. Bring back a little bit of power. We got a nice 10,000 foot runway, so don't feel the need to put it down right away.
Okay.
Looking good. Looking real good. And now you can see the runway from your landing light.
Okay.
And looks like your touchdown.
Touchdown. Brakes
Perfect.
on.
Put your speed brake out. And just gently tap those brakes until you come to a stop. We don't want to be squeezing those brakes too tight. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and go around and make a landing. You just go ahead and taxi off the runway whenever you come to a stop.
Yep, there's one spot right here. Okay. Okay.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, pucker factor 100%. That was cool. That was the first time I landed with the bracket thingy.
Yep. And you did fantastic, man. Really good job.
Thank you.
Very cool. I've never had someone do that well at doing that for the first time in the darkness before, so good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You helped me a lot.
Yep. Sometimes, I mean, it's hard because there's not somebody to actually, you know, teach you in DCS. There's those training missions, but they kind of suck. You just got to watch videos and find someone that's willing to help you out, you know?
Yep, that's what I oh, that's what I needed. Okay. I am not taxiing properly.
Yep. Just use that landing light. Just taxi.
Yeah, it won't turn for some reason.
Make sure you got nose wheel steering turned on.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah. Interesting. Oh well. I thought the light would turn with my wheels.
It should turn with your wheels.
Yeah.
So one thing that can help you get a nice smooth landing in the daytime, it's a little bit harder at night, but you can still kind of do it, is we were concentrating really hard on keeping that velocity vector at the approach end of the runway, right?
Right.
So once you want to kind of pick an aiming point. So that aiming point can be where you're putting that velocity vector on the numbers of the runway. But once we kind of float over that aiming point, we want to then transition our eyes from looking, you know, kind of directly down at the runway where we want to plop the airplane down to the end of the runway. Because if we transition our eyes to the end of the runway, we can then get a gooder, or not gooder, but better judge on how high we actually are above the runway. And that way we can kind of modulate our angle of attack and our power to give us a nice gentle little like squeak squeak landing on the runway.
It's not like when you're driving, you're always supposed to look where you want to go in the distance and all that fun stuff. So
exactly, it's similar to that. Yeah. Now you do have to concentrate in the beginning on your touchdown point and where you want to put the jet down. But once you float over that point, because usually you're not going to land directly on that point, you're going to kind of float a little bit over the top of it. You can then start to transition your eyes to the end of that runway, and then get an idea of how high you are above that runway. So I'm coming in for my final approach here.
Yep, watching that.
All right, got two red, 2 white on the Pappy. I'm a little unstabilized right now, but I'm trying my best to kind of dampen that out.
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
Fast. As they say, do as I say, not as I do.
Yep. You're really straight on that.
Yeah, trying to stay right on center line. I'm a bit high. And a little burble there. It's kind of weird. Not the best landing. Now I'm just going to be gently tapping my brakes.
Right.
And now I'm down, looking for a taxiway. Okay, I see one out there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, not too bad. Not the best landing, but not too bad. I kind of rounded out a little bit high there, and so I kind of floated down the runway a bit more than I would have liked to, but that's okay. All right, where are you?
All the way to your right.
Okay. Oh, I see it.
I just parked my butt somewhere.
Yep, that's okay. Taxi on up to you, and that'll be the end of the lesson for today.
Oh,
if that works
that was
for you.
good. Oh yeah, absolutely. I learned quite a bit, so quite
Yeah,
happy.
That's awesome. That's what I like to hear. So it seems like you're pretty good with situational awareness and things like that, which is really good. I would say that if you wanted to, you could join one of my missions at this point. I think you have the skills to be able to actually fly a mission and, you know, participate in it. You may not be the best in terms of, you know, getting tons of kills and things like that, but it would be fun for you because you know how to fly, you know how to fly the jet smoothly, you know how to navigate these kinds of things that are all important for the kinds of missions that I put together for people.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have ammunition, just so I can start hearing the lingo and seeing, you know, you learn by seeing, right? So
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so awesome job, man. Really good.
Thank you.
Still can't believe that you've only been flying for a week now in DCS. That's kind of nuts.
yeah, this whole